Paris, 1883. The city of light buzzes with life, carriages clatter over cobblestone streets, gas lamps cast their warm glow, and the Seine reflects a world on the cusp of change. But step beyond the grand boulevards, and darkness swallows everything. In hospitals, surgeons squint under flickering oil lamps, their hands trembling as they navigate delicate procedures. In mines, workers crawl through pitch-black tunnels, where a single spark from a gas lamp could unleash catastrophe. This was the world Gustave Trouvé, a quiet yet relentless inventor, vowed to illuminate with a device so ingenious it feels ripped from our modern age. The Photophore, a battery-powered headlamp worn on the forehead. As a scientist, I've spent years in labs filled with cutting-edge tech, from AI-driven sensors to quantum processors. Yet, Trouvé's story stops me in my tracks. His Photophore wasn't just a light, it was a revolution. It freed hands, sharpened focus, and saved lives. Imagine a doctor, no longer reliant on an assistant's shaky lamp, now able to see every vein with crystal clarity. Picture a miner, no longer fearing a fatal explosion, guided by a steady beam. This was wearable technology before the term existed, a precursor to our smartwatches and AR headsets. Yet Trouvé's name is absent from the annals of fame. Why? How could a man with over 300 patents, hailed as a wizard of electricity, slip into obscurity? Let's rewind to 1839, to the small town of La Haye-Descartes, where Gustave Trouvé was born to a modest cattle dealer. A frail boy, he showed an early knack for mechanics, tinkering with locks and gadgets. At 18, he enrolled in the École des Arts et Métiers, but illness cut his studies short, forcing him to Paris. There, in a cramped workshop on Rue Vivienne, his genius ignited. By 1865, he was patenting inventions at a dizzying pace: electric gyroscopes, medical instruments, even an early telephone. La Nature, the era's premier science journal, called him a master of the electric arts. His workshop became a pilgrimage site for inventors, buzzing with the hum of batteries and the glow of possibility. Paris in the 1880s was a crucible of progress. The 1881 Exposition Internationale de l'Électricité showcased wonders like Edison's bulb and Siemens's dynamo, but practical applications lagged. Doctors like Dr. Paul Helot, an ear-nose-throat specialist in Rouen, struggled with cumbersome lighting. In a letter dated July 25, 1883, Helot pleaded for a solution. "I need light that moves with me, not against me." Miners faced even graver dangers. Gas lamps in coal mines were ticking time bombs. Trouvé, ever the problem solver, envisioned a device that was portable, hands-free, and reliable. His answer was the Photophore, a leather strap fitted with a small bulb powered by a compact carbon-zinc battery worn at the waist. The beam, adjustable by head movements, was a marvel of simplicity and precision. This wasn't just an invention, it was a lifeline. Surgeons could operate with newfound confidence. Miners could work without fear. Trouvé's Photophore didn't just light up spaces, it lit up lives. But how did this quiet genius conceive such a bold idea? And what drove him to create a device that feels so startlingly modern? Let's step into his workshop and uncover the spark that started it all. Picture a cluttered workshop in Paris, 1883. Wires snake across wooden benches, glass bulbs gleam faintly, and the air hums with the faint crackle of electricity. This is Gustave Trouvé's domain, a sanctuary of invention where ideas take shape in metal and glass. As a scientist, I know the thrill of a breakthrough and the frustration of a prototype that fails. Trouvé's journey to create the Photophore was no easy feat. It was a dance of trial and error, fueled by a doctor's desperate plea and a relentless drive to solve the unsolvable. Dr. Paul Helot, a Rouen-based physician, was Trouvé's catalyst. In early 1883, Helot wrote to Trouvé, his words brimming with frustration, "My hands are bound by lamps that falter. I need light that follows my gaze, steady and true." Surgeons and dentists faced the same struggle. Oil lamps were unwieldy, gas lamps hazardous, and candles woefully inadequate. Trouvé, with his knack for miniaturization, saw an opportunity. He sketched a device that combined a small electric bulb, a carbon-zinc battery, and a leather head strap. The key innovation? A direct shaft mechanism that let the beam pivot with the wearer's head movements, ensuring light where it was needed most. The challenges were daunting. Batteries in 1883 were heavy, often leaking corrosive acid. Bulbs were fragile, their filaments prone to burning out after mere hours. Trouvé's genius lay in overcoming these limits. He designed a lightweight battery pack, compact enough to wear on a belt, with a casing that minimized leaks. His bulb, encased in a sturdy housing, could withstand the rigors of medical and industrial use. Night after night he tinkered, soldering wires, testing voltages, and cursing failed circuits. His workshop, as described in La Nature, was a chaos of brilliance, littered with prototypes that sparked, smoked, or occasionally succeeded. By mid-1883, the Photophore was ready. Helot tested it in his Rouen clinic, marveling at its clarity. "It's as if daylight bends to my will," he wrote in a follow-up letter. Trouvé refined the design based on feedback, adding adjustable straps and a reinforced frame to withstand wear. In November 1884, he presented his Lampes électriques portatives to the Académie des Sciences in Paris, earning accolades for its ingenuity. The device wasn't just functional, it was elegant, a testament to Trouvé's ability to blend form and function. The Photophore's impact rippled outward. Doctors adopted it for surgeries, noting its precision in illuminating delicate procedures. Dentists praised its ability to reveal hidden cavities. Trouvé, never one to rest, saw its potential beyond medicine. Miners working in perilous conditions needed reliable light. He adapted the Photophore with a tougher casing, making it a staple in French coal mines. Speleologists, navigating treacherous caves, embraced it as a beacon of safety. Each tweak showcased Trouvé's vision, technology that served humanity's most pressing needs. Holding a replica of the Photophore, I'm struck by its simplicity: a leather strap, a small bulb, a battery no larger than a book. Yet this modest device was a giant leap. It wasn't just about light, it was about freedom. Freedom to work, to explore, to heal. But how did this invention transform the world beyond Trouvé's workshop? Let's follow its beam. Imagine a miner 300 feet underground, his world a suffocating void. His only light is a gas lamp, its flame dancing dangerously close to methane pockets. One wrong move, and the mine becomes a tomb. Now picture him wearing Trouvé's Photophore, its steady electric beam piercing the darkness. This wasn't just illumination, it was salvation. As a scientist, I'm awed by how one invention can ripple across industries, touching lives in ways its creator might never have imagined. The Photophore did exactly that, reshaping medicine, mining, and even theatre. In hospitals, the Photophore was a revelation. Surgeons, once tethered to assistants holding lamps, could now move freely, their hands unburdened. A 1884 article in La Nature described a Parisian hospital where the Photophore halved nighttime surgeries. Dr. Jean Martin, a noted surgeon, wrote, "Trouvé's light has saved lives by steadying my scalpel." Dentists, too, found it transformative. The beam's focus revealed details invisible under traditional lighting, revolutionizing oral care. By 1885, dental clinics in Lyon reported a 30% increase in successful procedures, thanks to the Photophore's clarity. Miners were its greatest beneficiaries. France's coal industry, riddled with accidents, faced constant peril from gas lamps. The Photophore changed that. Its electric beam eliminated the risk of sparking explosions, offering a safer alternative. A 1885 report from the Société de l'Industrie Minérale noted a 20% drop in mine-related deaths in regions using Trouvé's device. Miners called it le sauveur, the savior. Speleologists exploring uncharted caves relied on it too. A 1886 expedition in the Gouffre de Padirac credited the Photophore with preventing a team from being stranded in darkness. Then came an unexpected twist. Theatre. Trouvé, ever the showman, saw beauty in his invention. He fitted the Photophore with colored filters, creating luminous electric jewels that glowed red, blue, and green. Parisian troupes adorned dancers with these lights, turning performances into spectacles. A 1885 pamphlet, L'électricité au théâtre, described audiences gasping as dancers shimmered like fireflies. Priced at 50 francs, these jewels were a luxury, worn by the elite at galas. They were the 19th century equivalent of today's LED stage costumes, a dazzling hint of wearable tech's future. The Photophore's versatility was its magic. It wasn't just a tool, it was a symbol of progress, a bridge between necessity and wonder. As I trace its impact through dusty archives, I feel a surge of admiration. Trouvé didn't just solve problems, he wove light into the fabric of life. Yet, as his invention shone, his own star began to fade. Why? Let's explore the electric dreams of his era and the forces that dimmed his legacy. The 1880s were a wildfire of innovation. Electricity wasn't just a science, it was a revolution. Edison's incandescent bulb lit homes. Tesla's AC motor-powered factories and the first power plants hummed to life. As a scientist, I'm captivated by this era's energy, where ideas sparked faster than circuits could handle. Trouvé's Photophore wasn't an isolated triumph, it was part of a global surge. But what made it stand out was its intimacy, a device designed not for cities, but for people. Unlike Edison's bulbs, tethered to fixed power sources, the Photophore was mobile, powered by Trouvé's compact carbon-zinc battery. Compared to Siemens's massive dynamos, it was personal, practical, a light you could carry. Trouvé's genius extended far beyond the Photophore. His 1881 electric tricycle, the world's first, zipped through Paris at 12 miles per hour, a marvel of mobility. His 1884 electric boat, fitted with a headlamp and horn, was the first vehicle to blend electricity with accessories. His 1878 telephone improvements rivaled Bell's, boosting sound clarity. His 1885 underwater lighting system aided Suez Canal operations, guiding ships through murky waters. With over 300 patents, Trouvé was a titan. The 1881 Exposition Internationale de l'Électricité was his moment to shine. His booth, packed with gyroscopes, medical tools, and electric toys, drew crowds. Le Figaro dubbed him the Da Vinci of electricity, a nod to his boundless creativity. Yet fame slipped through his fingers. Why? Trouvé didn't chase it. Unlike Edison, who built a brand, Trouvé saw invention as an art, not a business. His wealth, inherited from family, let him tinker without commercial pressure. He could have been a tycoon, biographer Kevin Desmond writes, but he cared only for the next idea. The Photophore embodied this ethos. It was born of need, Elo's plea, miner's dangers, not profit. Its design, simple yet precise, reflected Trouvé's focus on utility. But as electricity reshaped the world, darker forces gathered. The rise of petrol engines, the skepticism toward batteries, and Trouvé's own modesty conspired to dim his light. Let's uncover the shadows that fell over his legacy. Every scientist knows the sting of a failed experiment, the fear that your work might vanish into irrelevance. I've felt it in my lab, watching months of research unravel. Gustave Trouvé's story is a sharper pain, a genius erased by time. Despite the Photophore's brilliance, Trouvé faded from history. As I dig through his story, I'm haunted by one question. How could a man who lit up the world be so utterly forgotten? The first shadow was Trouvé's own temperament. He was no showman. Unlike Edison, who courted investors and headlines, Trouvé shunned the spotlight. He was already wealthy, Kevin Desmond notes in his 2015 biography. He didn't need fame or fortune. His patents, including the Photophore, were rarely commercialized. He licensed designs to small firms, but never built a factory or brand. This humility, while admirable, limited his reach. The Photophore, though revolutionary, remained a niche tool, produced in small batches. The second shadow was the era itself. By the 1890s, petrol engines roared to dominance. Cars, trains, and factories ran on gasoline, not electricity. Batteries, like those powering the Photophore, were dismissed as impractical. A 1895 Journal de l'Industrie article scoffed, "Portable electricity is a curiosity, not a future." Trouvé's electric tricycle, once a sensation, was shelved as petrol vehicles took over. The Photophore, tied to battery tech, faced similar skepticism. Manufacturers favored gas lamps, cheaper and more familiar. Trouvé, sensing the tide turning, retreated to his workshop. Then came the final blow. In 1902, while working on a UV light therapy device, Trouvé cut his thumb. The wound, neglected, turned septic. At 63, he died in a Paris hospital alone. His archives, a treasure trove of sketches and notes, burned in a 1980 fire. His unmarked grave in Descartes was later cleared for new burials. His legacy, like his Photophore, flickered out. As I read of his lonely end, I feel a pang of sorrow. Trouvé gave the world light, but the world gave him darkness. Yet his story isn't over. The Photophore's spark still glows in our modern world. Let's trace its legacy and the efforts to revive a forgotten genius. In my lab, I glance at my smartwatch, its screen pulsing with notifications. It's a marvel of engineering, but its roots trace back to 1883, to Trouvé's Photophore. As a scientist, I'm thrilled to see his vision alive in today's wearable tech. The Photophore wasn't just a headlamp, it was a prophecy, a blueprint for devices that move with us, enhancing our lives. Modern headlamps, used by campers, surgeons and cyclists, owe their hands-free design to Trouvé. LED costumes, dazzling at music festivals, echo his luminous electric jewels. Google Glass and Meta's AR headsets, with their head-mounted displays, mirror the Photophore's intuitive control. A 2019 IEE Spectrum article calls Trouvé a pioneer of personal electronics, noting that the wearable tech market, now worth over $50 billion, stands on his shoulders. From Fitbits to VR, his spark endures. Efforts to revive Trouvé's legacy are gaining momentum. Kevin Desmond's 2015 book, Gustave Trouvé, French electrical genius, brought his story to light, drawing on rare archives. In 2016, a plaque was unveiled at Trouvé's Paris home, celebrating his 75 innovations. Online communities like thegussies.com share his patents and sketches, keeping his spirit alive. In 2020, a French museum displayed a Photophore replica, sparking interest among tech historians. As I browse these efforts, I'm inspired by the passion to honor a forgotten hero. Trouvé's story strikes a chord in America, where tales of underdogs resonate. His Photophore, born of necessity, embodies the grit of inventors who toil without glory. By sharing his story, we celebrate not just Trouvé, but all unsung pioneers. Their ideas, buried in time, still shape our world. Let's ensure his light never fades again. As I close my notebook, filled with notes on Trouvé's life, I'm struck by a truth. History isn't just about the famous. It's about the quiet ones, like Gustave Trouvé, whose Photophore lit paths we still tread. As a scientist, I've learned that progress rests on forgotten shoulders. Trouvé's story, his triumphs, struggles, and erasure, is a call to look deeper, to seek the sparks that history overlooked. The Photophore was more than a device. It was a promise of safety for miners, precision for doctors, wonder for audiences. It was a glimpse of a world where technology serves humanity, not just profit. Today, as we wear smartwatches, AR glasses, and LED gear, we live in that world. Trouvé's vision, though forgotten, endures in every device that moves with us, enhancing our lives. Why share this story? Because history repeats its oversights. We forget geniuses like Trouvé, letting their lessons fade. By remembering him, we inspire new inventors, scientists, and dreamers. We remind ourselves that one spark can change everything. As La Nature wrote in 1884, Trouvé's light pierces the darkness of our ignorance. That light still burns, guiding us to honor the obscure, to seek the untold. So what can you do? Dive into history, uncover the forgotten, share their stories, and join us at Obscure Minds to explore more hidden pioneers. Like, share, and subscribe to keep their lights shining. Let's ensure Gustave Trouvé's Photophore and his legacy burns brightly for generations to come.